Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Innovation Impact Makers, where we meet people quietly making an impact in the world of innovation. My guest today is Itai Green. Itai is a corporate open innovation expert, pretty well known in this field. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Naftali.
Itai has come out with a new book, and I'd really like to talk about that. But beforehand, Itai is pretty prominent in the world of open innovation. I'd like to speak with you about what you do on a daily basis and what kind of impact you're making in the world of corporates.
In the last decade, nearly a decade, I'm running open innovation activity in different corporations as a consultant. Before I was an entrepreneur for 15 years and also heading the innovation of Amadeus in Israel, the open innovation activity of Amadeus in Israel. But in the last decade, I'm a consultant and I help big corporations to remain relevant. Time of chaotic change and actually help them to change their mindset, the corporate DNA, so they would be able to enjoy the great technologies that are surrounding them and be able to engage with them in order to remain relevant, in order to survive, in order to win, in order to beat their competitors. Probably we're going to talk about it later, but at least according to my point of view, the only way to remain relevant these days for corporate is to adopt innovation from outside. Otherwise, your competitors are doing that and they will beat you. So, there's no other way.
Can you tell us a bit, like more layman terms, what is your methodology to help these big companies actually take solutions from outside and run with them?
So it's actually the best question you could ask because it's really super practical. And the book is all about being practical. It's not theoretical, it's not inspiration, it's practical, and your question is the same. So I would like to tell you how I start the process. It's really difficult to convince a corporate that is succeeding, they're making a lot of money, they make a profit, to convince them that they have to change. Because, there is an arrogance of success. As a corporate, I make a lot of money, I lead a company. Who are you, Itai or Naftali, that you're going to tell us that we need to change? We don't need to change. We've been doing great in the last decade. We continue to do the same. We are going to continue and make a lot of money. That's wrong. So these days, you have to truly change the mindset of the corporate people. And at least my methodology is to begin with meeting the different C-level executives. I meet each and every C-level and board members and chairman for 1 hour. I learn about the challenges they face. The corporate people, C-level executives know exactly what are the pains, what are the challenges. They know that. We pick the 3 most relevant ones that really bother them. And after 2 weeks, I get back to them with a list of 50 different startups or different technology solutions that I personally think that fit their needs. Then what I need to do is to spend 1 hour to review this Excel and tell me this one is relevant, this one is not, this is maybe yes, maybe not. And I'm picking the 10 most relevant ones, and we set an innovation bootcamp for 1 day with the chairman and the board members, or with the CEO and the C-level executives, or with the VP and the 10 that are reporting to him or to her. And in this day, it starts with 1 to 2 hours lecture of mine where I tell them what's going on around them. What is open innovation? What is going to happen to them if they will not adopt this methodology, if they will keep on doing the same as they used to? And I provide them with concrete tools, how to remain relevant, how to treat startups, how to treat partners, how to get value of all of these engagements, how to truly engage and get value. This is super important. And after my lecture, they are kind of really into it. They are curious. They're a little bit stressed because, I tell them the truth, that there are many threats around them and they have to change the way they do. And then after my lecture, 10 startups are getting into the room, into the office, 30 minutes each. 10 minutes speech, 20 minutes Q&A. And these 10 startups have been selected by them out of the 50 startups that I offered that solve 3 pains, 3 challenges. So they are now in a position they can't say it's not relevant. They provided the challenges. They picked the 10 most relevant ones for these challenges. So they are a part of the process. So at the beginning, they've been learning how to do it, why is it important, and so on. They got the tools, and then they meet the startups. And the average, after I was doing it hundreds of times in all around the world, almost really, Asia, South America, Europe, North America, almost everywhere. You know what is the average number of startups they want to proceed to a second meeting after this innovation bootcamp?
60%?
Good, seven out of the 10, 70%, yeah. And this is, and after this session, we proceed to a second meeting. We bring all the relevant stakeholders, including legal department, procurement, all CISO, all of those that have to be part of the process. And we keep on to the second meeting, to the third meeting, and then we proceed, hopefully, to a pilot. Statistically, we're going to have out of these 7, 2 or 3 pilots, 1 or 2 integrations. So this is, like in a nutshell, really the best practice that I can share, and I see it very valuable. I mean, it works, and it's really efficient. And once you do it across the company with the different divisions, you truly change the DNA of the company in few months. Because, at the beginning, I try to push my clients into not measuring the success in the first couple of years with ROI. That's a big mistake, to measure innovation the first couple of years with ROI. It's a huge mistake. I push them into measuring it with the number of pilots. The more pilots they run across the company would be more relevant. The people will speak the lingo of our time. They would be able to adopt AI. They would be able to adopt new technology. They would not be closed. They would be open to new things. So this is really important. But at the end of the day, the ROI, which at the beginning I asked them not to measure, later when they measure it, they find it truly as the best thing they could ever think of.
So interesting. When you go, you're doing a top-down approach. So when you go do that, how does the more mid-level feel? Like, do they feel like they're getting their arms twisted to do actual open innovation, or do they actually embrace it? Because I've had some experience with the top-down, and then usually the mid-level finds a way not to move forward with it. How do they embrace it in your experience?
So as you said correctly, I start top-down, but when we are running these innovation bootcamps with the VP and the one that reports to, it's actually mid-level management, and they accept it. I must tell you, in the last 3.5 years since OpenAI came to our life, it's less difficult. I wouldn't say it's easier, but it's less difficult to engage mid-level management, because at the end of the day, they know and they feel in the last few years that if they will not be active in a constructive way, I mean, being active in a positive way in the innovation process, they will become irrelevant. And it is relevant for them as individuals, as employees. All research show that the one that truly collaborate with the innovation process, that are employees that are more into adopting new technologies and new tools, are more attractive to when they apply to a new job, and they're also more attractive and more appreciated within the job they currently do. And they are promoted and they are making more money. Their salary on average, according to one of the research, is 25% more than the one who doesn't know how to truly use AI or new technologies. So I think these days it's easier to engage the mid-level. Otherwise AI will really replace them. And there is a well-known phrase that says the one that will replace you is the one that knows how to use AI, how to leverage AI. And same with innovation to corporations. The corporate that will replace you is the one that enjoy and truly embrace and engage with innovation and truly promote it. That's reality. And things are moving so fast. You know that.
Yes.
Super fast. I mean, some of the times I truly feel sorry for CEOs these days. It's really tough. It's really tough, and we have to to help them to handle this challenge.
So the title of your book is Innovation or Elimination: Winning in a World of Constant Change, an Executive Playbook. My questions are not really necessarily on the book, but the beginning of the book starts with, in a world, and you just spoke about it, in a world defined by accelerating change, companies have failed to embrace innovation, risk stagnation, and eventual decline. Disruption is no longer a distant threat, it's an immediate reality, and those who cling to old models will be outpaced by more agile competitors and ultimately left behind. And in this environment, adopting innovation is not optional. Instead, it's a matter of survival. So that's basically what we're talked about right now, and that's the that's the book in a nutshell and the importance of it. But my first question about the book is, what got you into writing the book?
Actually, a friend of mine, Yaron Flint, is the one that truly pushed me into writing it. I tell you the truth, I had it in mind, but the easiest thing is to postpone it because, the day job is really pushing the clients and lectures that I give all around, and you don't really have the time. But that's reality. But he convinced me. He's the one, and I thank him for that because, once you put on writing on the paper your thoughts and your experience, you learn along this process. You learn a lot. And I gave it the draft for people to provide me with comments and feedback, and I tried to make it even better. And I had to find the time, but I'm really thankful for Yaron to convince me. And Yaron is actually already about to publish his second book. So I don't really know if I'm going to have a second book. I don't commit, but I thank you for that. And I truly, at the end of the day, what made Yaron convince me is he has told me, you have experience, you create an impact on few companies because at the end of the day, I'm one person, okay? Mm-hmm. It's not like a huge consulting firm. And the best way to create an impact, a global impact, is with this book. So this is truly what made me be convinced. And I think, if even I would be able to help 100 more companies, 200 more companies, and maybe more, I don't know, with this book, just to help the decision makers, the leaders, the board members, to change their mindset, to be more modest. We have to be modest in this. I have to tell you, every morning I wake up and learn about a new technology, a new startup. And how could I expect my clients that have their own job to be aware of that? No chance. So what I always tell them, my clients, if you are modest, if you're always open to learn new stuff, if you're open to the ecosystem in order not to be surprised, the chances of your business to survive at least, but also to succeed are by far higher, 10x higher. At the end of the day, we have to be modest, you and me as consultants, as innovation experts, but also our clients. Because once you realize that there is so much knowledge out there, so many smart people, you better collaborate with, you better engage with, rather they will risk your future. Once you realize that, it's like 90% of the solution.
Yaron also came out with his own book, Innovative Business Development, and I think that you're coming from a more methodological approach that's based on your experience. Yaron also has some methodology in his book, but what are the main additional information that you're bringing that wasn't covered by Yaron in other books? A lot of people have written books about this topic. What's your unique perspective that you're bringing?
So the unique perspective, I think, of this book is that it really provides concrete tools how to make it happen. And to make it happen, I will give you a few examples. One of them is that in each and every company, you have to have at least one board member, at least one, hopefully three, that are experts in technology and innovation. Once you have it, the chances for the decision makers, for the strategy, the board, they are truly deciding about the strategy. Once you have it around the board, the chances for you to survive and win, higher. The second thing is to hire only people with the fear of missing out and get rid of those with the NIH syndrome that not invented here, those that are motivated by ego, get rid of them. People that are motivated by ego are a true risk for the future of the company, And in the book, I tell about few examples. These people are a risk. So you better hire the other type of people, the people that are not motivated by ego, but are motivated by being open, by curiosity, and so on. Hire people that have spent a moment in a startup, because you have to bring new DNA into your company. Pay for pilots. I always tell, when I meet with my clients a startup, and my client is super excited to move into the pilot phase, and the startup is offering a pilot for free, my client and myself insist to pay. And it is difficult for people to, usually they say, are you crazy? Someone has just offered you something for free and you insist to pay. What's wrong with you?
You say that. It's funny you say that, because it's usually the startups that are asking for the pilots to be paid and the corporates that want to get it for free. When I was working in corporates, my response was always, you get what you pay for.
Exactly. And you get not only the service or the product according to what you pay, you also get the level of engagement of your colleagues in the corporate if you pay. If you don't pay, the level of engagement is lower. But I want to tell you something else. Once the entrepreneur is leaving the office after such a meeting, these entrepreneurs message in WhatsApp groups of entrepreneurs. You can't believe it. I just met a corporate X. I offer them a pilot for free. They insisted to pay. What happens the moment later? Two things. One, only 10% of the entrepreneurs are printing the screen and sharing it with other WhatsApp groups. And the second thing, many startups, all startups, are knocking on your door. There is no better marketing budget if you want to get the best entrepreneurs. I have so many. I want to tell you one more thing. In the last decade, what I faced with my clients is that, in many cases, companies tend to think that if they will build a CVC, they will remain relevant. And I want to offer a different way. The different way is to start with pilots and then to start a CVC, to launch a CVC. And the reason is that once a corporate is running a pilot with a startup and the corporate is happy with the results and they're moving into the integration phase, this shows that the startup solved the pain, gave a good solution, a great solution to the challenge. It means this specific startup solved the same pain to thousands of companies like my client. So
it's a validation. It's a validation to invest in them.
This is the best due diligence, the best validation an investor can dream of. It's by far better than any angel or VC due diligence, by far better. And that moment, I try to push my clients into investing in this startup. And according to my experience, in all, not 99%, all cases where the pilot truly provided a value and my client invested or considered investing, but not invested, at the end of the day, the end of the story is that the startup made a lot of money. And if my client invested a little bit, they made a lot of money, X, in 5 years' time. So I think you can enjoy the ecosystem not only in order to remain relevant, but also to make money for those that are interested in making money.
So who is the audience that the book is intended for?
So it's board members, C-level executives, but also startups.
That was my next question.
I always tell my clients that if they want, and they have to, if they want to work with startups, they have to speak the startup lingo. Startup would never change its lingo due to their cash flow. They can't wait from one quarter to another because the cash flow is going to end. So also entrepreneur, I think, can help you and me to educate the corporates how to handle startups. And the way to handle startups is not like a supplier, it's like a partner. And once you understand that, you're much more successful.
Amazing. So how do people contact you?
LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best way. In the LinkedIn, you can find everything, including WhatsApp. I love working with WhatsApp, so I think this is really the most effective way. The last page of the book is, is really, the book is truly not in order to inspire or provide guidelines, like generalistic guidelines. It's truly practical. And that's the reason why at the end of the book, maybe you can't see that, but at the end of the book, there is a QR. It's difficult to show, but there is a QR where you can see, where you can contact me directly via LinkedIn or WhatsApp. So I'm really looking into engaging with the readers and get their feedback and learn from them. And if Yaron will convince me again, maybe I'll write a second book.
Or two. So I encourage everyone to read the book. I'm close to the end myself. I think people can get a lot of value from the book. And Itai, thank you for joining us today. Really
Thank you very
appreciate
much,
it.
Naftali. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.